Today's topic is a trader's perspective, the journey of an active trader, along with helpful tips, techniques, shortcuts for the Lightspeed Trader software with the garage day trader, Justin Oles. The plan is to try to give you a point of view of an active trader using the Lightspeed Trader software, how he sets up his order entry, and some tips and tricks for the software, and just hearing his point of view on the markets and setting up and how he's come to be an active trader, and of course using the Lightspeed software. Justin has a very popular YouTube channel, Garage Day Trader, and website, so he does present on a daily basis, shows some of his trading style and trade. So we figured we'd reach out and have him present. So we're very happy to have him here. Briefly, before we get started, we just have to do our quick disclosure. This presentation is for informational purposes only. Nothing presented today should be construed as investment advice or recommendation to buy, sell, hold any security or contract. Since we don't know everyone's investment objectives or risk tolerance, we're not endorsing any specific trading strategies. Security, futures, derivatives, futures trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Each investor must consider whether this is a suitable investment, since you may lose all or more than your initial investment. Past performance is not indicative of future results. So it's this content neither should be nor construed as an offer, solicitation, or recommendation to buy or sell any security. Any investment decision made by the user through the use of such content is solely based on the user's independent analysis, taking into consideration of financial circumstances, investment objective, and risk tolerance. Lion Brokerage LLC does not endorse, nor offer, nor recommend any of the services or commentary provided by any of the market commentators, educations, or service providers, or any information used to execute trading strategies. Okay, thanks for that. Now, guys, for any information on opening an account, or if you would like to request a demo account of the Lightspeed Trader software, please feel free to contact me, Rob Lifson, rlifson@lionbrokerage.com. We're happy to discuss the new account process, the cost structure, the providing you with a demo, a walkthrough, or any information we can to assist with the account. And guys, please remember, we are giving away a raffle here today at the end of the presentation. We're giving away a nice Lime duffel bag. So you have to be in attendance here at the end of the program. So just hang with us to the end, and we're gonna raffle off. Someone's gonna get a lucky gift here for joining us today. So without further ado, I'm going to shift over the presentation to Justin, and we are going to get started here. So guys, just give us 1 minute. I'm going to shift him to the presenter, and he's going to start to share his screen. So Justin, please, whenever you're ready, please take the mic.
All right, thank you, Rob. Thanks for having me, to you and all the guys at Lightspeed. Just let me know and make sure that my screen is coming through okay here for everyone to see, and also that you can hear me. So I make sure everything's good on my end here, if you would.
Yes, on both. I can hear and see. Yep, looks good.
Excellent. All right, guys. Well, hello, welcome. Thank you for joining me today. I'm not sure how many of you are here through knowing me, or if you're just here from Lightspeed and interested in the trading platform itself. But either way, I appreciate you all being here, and hopefully I can at least give you a little bit of knowledge that maybe you didn't know, and some tips and tricks along the way. So kind of the plan is today, I'm just going to be showing you essentially how I use the platform. By no means do I know how to do everything in this platform or know every little tip and trick that there is, and that's, in my opinion, a good thing. One of the reasons that I wanted to use Lightspeed and wanted to use the Lightspeed platform is because of how customizable, how in-depth. Having a background myself in information systems development, I can kind of look at a program and see when one is well made. So Lightspeed has so much you can do with it, more than just, you know, your standard broker or trading platform may provide, and that is kind of why I got into it myself. Just a little bit of background about me. My name is Justin. Most people know me as the Garage Day Trader, or GDT. You guys can call me whatever you want, does not matter. I've been day trading for about 2.5 years, been in the markets a bit longer than that, around 4 to 5 years. So not going to be getting into my strategy or any of that too much today. Today is more so how you can use the platform to help you in your trading, and things that I like to use and do along the way. I will say there have been a lot of good things that I have found and enjoy using about Lightspeed, and, you know, indicative of the name Lightspeed is the quickness in executions and how fast you get filled, and the fills themselves. Before I came to Lightspeed, I never experienced a broker like this where oftentimes I'm getting filled at a better price than I am setting my limit, and that's a great thing because that's making you extra money each time just from the broker helping you out. And that's kind of, we'll go into that with the routing and all of that a little bit here as we go. But so that's a little bit about me. If you guys have any questions, let us know along the way, and if we can't get to them right then, we'll make sure to try and get to them at the end. So we'll start with just how to kind of customize your platform a little bit here in Lightspeed. We'll just kind of go through what I have on my screen here. This is a demo account that I've logged into here that Rob provided me. So you're not going to be seeing any of my personal info or anything like that. But this screen here is basically what you see if you watch any of my videos, and this is what the screen that I use to trade. So just keep in mind that it doesn't have to be exactly like this. You can customize it 100% however you want it to be. So let's just go ahead and start with the windows there. Let's start with some charting here. To bring up new chart, you're just going to go to new, and new is where you're in your main toolbar up here is where you're going to bring up any new windows you may want to use here in Lightspeed. So obviously if you want to do a chart, you're going to click on chart. It's going to bring up a new chart here. Now there's all kinds of different things you can do with the chart. Let me expand this a bit here to make sure we're big. It looks like we're linked already based on my settings to the most active window, but you're gonna want to make sure that when you're bringing up your charts, you link it to where you want it. I use a one window trading strategy basically. So a lot of people use different level 2s, different order entry windows, different time and sales, all that stuff, and that's completely fine. You can absolutely do that through Lightspeed. You just have to go through and link it correctly. So right now I just have everything on my main trading screen here linked to the focus, and the focus is my main stock that I'm trading here. In this case, it would be Apple. So in order to link, you can either go to the little settings button or you can just right click here. You can see it's currently linked. So if I want to unlink it from the focus, I can just click this unlink button right here, and I'm no longer linked to that main focus of Apple. So I can put in whatever stock I want here now, and is no longer going to bring it up in the chart. So in this way, if you have a set watch screen where you have a screen dedicated just to the stocks you're watching, it won't change every time you go through and change the active ticker that you're trading. So I can put in here whatever I may want, Tesla, whatever I may need, and then it will not change if I go and change my active trading window. Now, if you do want to link it to the focus, once again, you can go to the settings or just right click, and link to focus is a quick way to do it, and that'll snap to whatever stock you may be trading here. You see it changes along with it. Some more ways to link, as if you have more than one level 2, more than one order entry windows, is you're going to go into settings here. And just bear with me every once in a while, guys, because I don't do this every day. So it should be, yes, in window. So your settings is going to bring up the window, and this pop-up window is going to get what you get to do all your customization. So you can then choose to link it to a specific quote window. So if you have more than one quote window, this is where you will go, and it will pop up in here. It'll auto-populate in there. I only have one up currently, so you're not seeing more than that as it is. But if you want to link it to that quote window, just go into settings, go into window, and link. You can also change chart names. So if you always watch the same charts all the time, you can change it to Tesla, whatever you may need, and go from there. All right, let's take a look at some indicators that you can add. There are a lot of really cool indicators in Lightspeed, and actually there's one that I was recently pointed to that's a pretty neat one that I would like to show you guys. So once again, just right click and go to settings, or you can hit the little gear icon to go up to here. This is where you're going to change your chart parameters as well. This is for me a 1 minute chart. You can change that to whatever you want, 1 minute, 2 minute, 5 minute, daily, weekly, and then you can change how far back it's viewed. So if you want the a further back view, you can do that to 500. If you want a really close view, you can change it to 100 bars back, things like that. You can choose whether you want market only hours. You can choose pre and post market here, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. And then you can also switch to days back. If you want to do it by number of days back rather than bars back, this is where you would switch that. The second little option here when you bring up the settings in the chart window is going to be studies. This is where you're going to add all of your indicators that you may want to use. I only have a few that I use on mine, the 9, 20, and VWAP, the 9 and 20 being the EMAs, but there are many different options you have on here. If you just click this little down button here, you see you've got Bollinger Bands, MACD, RSI, pivot lines, Fibonacci lines, whatever you may wish to do. And it actually doesn't look like it's in the demo version here, but they actually have a new one, which is it's a comparison indicator. So if you select that comparison indicator, you can then choose what stock you want to compare to right here on the main screen. So say you're trading a stock like Facebook or another big blue chip name stock that may have a lot of dependency on how the market goes. You can add that indicator in by going to comparison. I apologize, it's not in here currently on the demo version, but oh, no, there it is. It's right there. My apologies. So you could put in SPY per se if you want to follow the SPY along with the stock you're trading right here on the same chart without having to change screens or look at a different chart. You can actually do a comparison. It's almost like an indicator. So in this case, we're align, performance. Okay, and then if you want to add that on there, you just click add, and there you go. So now you can see the SPY moving directly in line with your stock on the actual stock chart. And I was actually just shown that the other day, and that was a pretty cool indicator that I wanted to show you guys. Is there a last price line indicator? Well, let's look through the indicators a little bit more here. So I don't know myself all the indicators that are available. So I don't want to tell you yes or no if I don't know for sure, because I'm sure Rob can answer that question for you more in depth. But you can see here pretty much everything that is available at the current time. You got your trend lines, your channels, pivot lines, MACD, RSI, things like that. Yep, you saw the comparison. My bad, I didn't see it on there at first. So you can add things like Bollinger Bands, all that good stuff in there, and that will pop up as well. I didn't change my settings there. So that's basically how you customize your chart. And then if you have different charts here, so on my screen, I have a 1 minute chart, a daily chart, and a 5 minute chart. You can save that and keep that as your default layout, whatever you may want it to be. You can just go to layout and save layout as, and you can save a lot of different types of layouts. So say you trade different ways, or you want to experiment with different types of layouts, you can save multiple layouts and then just load them up as you want throughout the day or trading day or week until you find exactly what you want. So that pretty much is charts in a nutshell. And you can see what your indicators will also be listed here on the left side of the chart. So let's get into the time and sales. Time and sales is pretty easily customizable. For me, I have just what I need on here. One of the things that you'll notice when you first open a Lightspeed account and start using it is that the time and sales kind of scrolls from bottom to top. The easiest and quickest way to get it to scroll normally is just to hit time. This is how you'll change ascending and descending order here in time. Pretty much everybody uses time, but you can certainly sort it by price, market, whatever you might wish. But that, just click that time button there, and that will give you what you need. This is also where you're going to change what is shown inside of the level 2. So you see you have columns that I have here currently, columns available. So I don't use all the columns that are available, but this is where you can add, remove, take, and change where they are. Can you change the default horizontal lines color? I know you can change whether there are lines. Let me see about the color. So if you go to display on your chart, you'll see it. You can show x-axis and y-axis. That's going to be these two, and the labels as well. Here are the grid lines over here on the right side. So I currently have vertical grid lines disabled. So I do not have that currently, but you can choose to have vertical, horizontal, or none if you don't like them at all. So that was where you would change that. It doesn't look like you can change the color there on the actual lines there, but that is where you would either add them in or remove them. This is also where you're going to change the color of the chart as well. If you don't like the black chart, go into style, change it to whatever you may want. If you like white charts, like I know some people do, you can certainly change that. Let me change that back real quick because that's hurting my eyes. All right, so I think we covered everything there. You guys have the questions going through, and Rob's going to continue to keep doing the answering, and I'll do my best to look at them as I go here. But I want to make sure, because we don't have a, I'm not going to be here for 3 hours today, but I want to make sure we get in everything that I can. So let's go to what I have on here next. I have my watch list here. So for me, I have a market watch list, which you can actually put the market in up here in the main line as well if you don't want to have it here. But for me, it's just kind of a personal preference that I put it there. To have a watch list, obviously, you're just going to go to new, go to watch list. It's going to bring up a new watch list. You can change its name to whatever you may want it to be. To add a new symbol into the watch list, just type it in and hit enter. It's going to automatically populate into that watch list. To get rid of it, right click and just remove. You can also see you can add from quote window. You can change the different options within the watch list as well if you need to do so. Let's get rid of that. All right, level 2. Level 2 is an interesting one. You can do a lot of good things with level 2 in Lightspeed. So if we bring up the settings here on level 2, I currently only have one level 2 that I use actively at a time in my trading. But if you're one of the people who use multiple level 2s, there's some really nice things that you can do. And so let's just go through the boxes here that come up in the settings when you hit the gear on the level 2. You can see here you could choose to see which markets are shown and may not be shown, some other options here. Excuse me. So if you go into design, this is where you're going to change how your level 2 works. You can change the level 1, which is this top portion here and this button, and the really one that most people are probably going to be interested in is the level 2. So if you go to settings, design, level 2 font and designs, it's going to bring up this window here. This window is where you can pretty much customize how your level 2 is going to work. So what you'll see here, and what's really interesting, is that you have an active level 2 design and an inactive level 2 design. And that can be really helpful if you use multiple level 2s at once and you want to easily know which one you are currently active in without having to look around. So if you want, you can go to your inactive level 2 here, and maybe you want to change the color to just a faded, all of the same type of color here. And you can change the inactive level 2 colors to whatever you may want them to be. So that way, when you have two level 2s open at once, you know exactly what is active, what is inactive, and you can go from there. And I'll show you what that looks like here in a second. We'll bring up a second level 2. So we'll click OK. Let's hit OK, bring up a new level 2 here. So you can see this one that we just brought in becomes the active level 2. That has our main layout that I use, and then the other one that's inactive will automatically change to those different colors so that you can know which one is active and inactive. All right, so let's get rid of that, and that brings us back to our active. So if you do want to change the active colors again there, once again, settings, design, level 2 font and colors, and this is where you would change the active font and colors here. This is also where you can change the positioning of the level 2 items. So market maker, price, and quantity, the three that you're going to be seeing in level 2. For me, I have market maker first, meaning that it's the first one in the column. Price will be second, and quantity will be third. But say you want to switch that up and put quantity first, and so forth, that will switch it up and change that within your level 2. And that's all here within level 2 fonts and designs. All right, just looking at these questions real quick. Hot buttons. Yes, we're going to get to hot buttons and how to make hotkeys and all of that here soon, guys. So just bear with me a little bit. We are going to get into hotkeys. Absolutely. I know that's one of the important things, especially when trading. I use hot buttons myself down here. We will get into that. Absolutely. So you can also change within the level 2. You can do rounded prices if you're doing higher price stocks. You can choose to highlight. So for me, I have highlight my own order. So if you watch my videos, you'll see my actual order coming up in the market, as long as it's not hidden or something along those lines, which you can choose to do. But it will actually be highlighted within the level 2, showing you that your order is sitting out there. So that's a thing that I like there. Sorry about my words there. Okay, so that's pretty much level. Oh, one extra thing in level 2 that I want to show everyone. So when you first open your Lightspeed platform, when you log in, you're going to see the level 2 look something like this. And it's not in there now because it hasn't printed yet, but this would essentially be a little time and sales that is added, there you go, added to the side of the level 2. So if you want to have that entered or you want to get rid of that, personally, I wanted to get rid of it and use just a larger time and sales myself. Go into settings, go into design, and right here on the right side of design under prints is display prints. So that is where that'll either get rid of that or bring that back in. So for me, I'm going to unclick that and hit OK, and that will get rid of that little time and sales there on the side of the level 2. All right, just a couple extra little things here about the level 2, some indicators here on the top right. You will see L in a little gray box means it's hard to borrow, so you may need to get some borrows there if you want to trade that stock. And then this percent here is going to show you your margin requirement. So 25% would mean that you have the full 4-to-1 buying power afforded to you through the platform. It may say 90%, 100%, 100% would mean that it is non-marginable and you need to have cash only. So make sure you're paying attention to this little spot up here. There could also be a red T. That would mean it's not shortable and you cannot short that stock to the downside. I'm not sure if they all say hard to borrow here in the demo or not. Looks like they do. Yeah, so they all say hard to borrow in demo, but these would normally all have a green E. Green E is easy to borrow and you do not have to worry about paying for any kind of short requests. If you do have something that's hard to borrow and you want to get shorts on it, all you have to do is get the short request enabled within your platform, and Rob or whoever your representative is at Lightspeed can help you with that. And essentially what will come up is a little box that says the stock, the symbol, how many you want to share. You'll do a hit request to request those stocks. It won't immediately charge you. It will then show you the price per how many shares you want. And if you want to accept that, you'll then click accept and have those shares available to short. So that's a quick way that you can do the locates right within the trading platform. You can also do it through the website, I believe, but the quickest way is to get that short request box enabled within your platform. All right, let's move on to order entry here now. I have these a different color. You can see here, the reason for that is to make sure they stand out and I know what I'm doing and I don't hit something in the wrong button. You can change the names to whatever you want. One of the things that is a little bit different compared to a platform you may be familiar with in Lightspeed is how stops work. So normally when you're in the market here, and the one I normally have it set to is the Lightspeed route, what you're going to need to do to set a stop is actually change that route to stop, or that market to stop. So the reason that I have it set here 2 different entry boxes is because I don't want to take the time each time to go through and change that route to that market route to stop, the type to stop, and all of that. So you're going to need to set that market to stop, and then in type is where you can change the type of stop. So if you want to do a trailing stop, a stop limit, limit open, close, market open, close, all that kind of stuff, it's going to be market stop, type stop, and then you're going to enter it. So say you want to enter a trailing stop here on, let's actually buy some Nike here really quick first. Let's see if through the, well, through the demo, I don't know how, I haven't used the demo in a while, so I don't know how well it gets filled or not in aftermarket. Doesn't look like it's going to get filled there right away here on the demo and aftermarket, but that's okay. We can get the point across anyway. So if you want to do a trailing stop, market stop, trailing stop, so you're going to have your share set to whatever you may be, and then you're just going to set the trailing amount. The amount is how much you want it to trail off of the ask, I believe. So you can just scroll that up and down real quick. If you're in a stock like Tesla, you can choose to just type it in and say you want it to be a $3 stop loss, and then you'll just hit buy or sell depending on which side of the trade you are on, and will automatically set that trailing stop in for you. You'll see it come up here in one of your order boxes if you have it set up, and we will have that order box up there. and I'll show you guys how to customize your orders and positions as well. So trailing stop.
Those go off the last trade. Sorry, the trailing stop.
The last trade. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Thanks, Rob, for putting that in. So you guys, there's so much about this platform that I still have no idea, especially if it gets into options and things like that. You can trade options through here. I've never even tried and don't plan on it, but you certainly can, and Lightspeed has a bunch of different videos out for trading options. All right, where was I? So to customize your order entries here, once again, bring up the order entry box, new orders. It's going to bring the orders is what you already did. New order entry. There we go. And it's going to bring up pretty much customized to what you already have. So to change this again, once again, you're just going to hit on settings, and it's going to bring up your settings here. So you can change your defaults when you log in, when you click on a mouse button, when you change the quote that's within the window, and that's the one I use. I use it so when I change whatever ticker may be in the window, I go in here into quotes, and what it's going to do is it's going to set the market type to whatever I want. For me, it's limit. The market for me is the Lightspeed route, and then you can choose your shares to whatever you want it to be, 400, 500, 600, 100, whatever you may want it to be. The default setting that's going to pop up in your box here when you change the quote. So if I put it to 300 and then I change the shares down here, but then say I change the stock to Apple. Well, it's not doing it here, but I have the settings set up somewhere. But all right, let's do it here. If I change it to Facebook, you can see it's going to automatically change that share size to my default of 300 shares. So that's kind of how you're going to change your defaults around if you want to change that. Additionally, this is where you're once again going to do how everything looks within the window. You can see I have it named as main order entry. You can have it the link setting here, and you can copy your settings over to a different order entry box if you would like to. This is also where if you want to bring up a new order entry box, you can use this for new windows. So if you bring up that new order entry box like I just did, the settings will go over from that one into there. All right, so let's get into the hot buttons and hotkeys. Just for a little bit of context, I don't actually use hotkeys. I only use hot buttons. For me, I have them separated into two different boxes. One would be for stocks that I am short in, so my short hot buttons, and stocks that I am long in, which would be my red hot buttons. You can change the colors around, and you can change them to say and do whatever you would like. For me, I have green to cover a short because you have to buy to cover a short, and red to cover a long because you have to sell your position to sell out of your long. So let's go ahead and see how we make and use hot buttons. First of all, you have to have a hotkey. Now there's a ton of different defaults within Lightspeed that you can choose to use. So for me, cancel offer stock was a default Lightspeed hotkey. So essentially what the hot button is doing is using a command key. So for me, this is once you hit settings, you go in here and you can go to closeout orders. You can see there's all these different ones. Custom commands will go into a second. That's where you make your own command, and Lightspeed has a little kind of auto command creator. So you're not just sitting there trying to type in code yourself. It will actually generate the hotkey for you to use. But say you want to close out an entire position using ones that are already given to you by Lightspeed. So you can see here, if you close out an entire position, it then goes into a large variety of different options. If you have a certain market route that you like to use, whether it be ARCA or the NASDAQ or whatever it may be, or if you just want to close out the entire thing in its entirety, there is an option for that as well. It's called cancel all for stock. You can see I already have that over here on the left. So if I want to use that, I would select it in this window, hit add, and it's going to bring it over into my active buttons. And basically you're just linking that command to the button here. So if we go and we want to see how to create a command, just go to settings, custom orders, and this is where you're going to create your command. You can see the ones that I have here myself that I have created just for my trading, because one of the things you have to keep in mind is sometimes the commands that Lightspeed provides, you have to make sure you're paying attention to which one you're using, because it may be for the stock or it may be for all open positions, or things like that. So for me, I went ahead and just made my own command, so I would know exactly what it is doing. So to do a new command, you're just going to do create new command, and it's going to bring up this completely customizable what you want it to do. So you're just going to go from left to right and choose what you want the command to do. So say you are in a long position and you want to create a command to sell a portion of that position. Obviously, you're going to click sell. The market, you can choose which market you want it to be, or primary market is the one that you have set as your default. Then the instruction is going to be how you want it to execute. Visible or hidden. I always use visible. Hidden is just if you want to hide your shares. And then you can choose what kind of closeout order you want here. So for me, I'm just going to choose market, and then you can choose a certain amount of quantity, or you can choose closeout full position. Tiers are kind of 100 share lots, I believe, in Lightspeed if you have tiers set up. Or you can do quarter position, half position, 3/4 position, or set quantity. So you say you trade odd lots, something like that, and you're in 90 shares and you want to create a hotkey to sell 75 shares. That's where you would do it. You would choose a quantity while you're making your custom command here. Pop up to confirm, I don't do those, because if you click that, then it's going to bring up a confirmation window, and so that's essentially 2 buttons to execute the command. So once you have that command set, you can name it whatever you want. So you can say sell 75 shares at market, and you've now created a new command. What you can then do is go into your hot buttons, click settings, go to your custom commands. You can see we just made that. So sell 75 shares at market. You're going to then add it in. Okay, so it's going to be added into your buttons. It's not showing up yet because we haven't clicked OK, but this is where you'll also change how it is displayed. So if I want it to change it to a red or whatever color I want, we'll do yellow in this case, and the button will also have different options as well. And then you can change what I believe this is where you change what it says. So sell 75 at market. You'll click OK, and I created a black background there. Let me change that real quick. Change it to white. Okay, so there you see that button comes up now, and anytime you click that button, it is going to execute that custom command that you just made. Now that same command that you just made, you can also, if you do use hotkeys, you can map it straight to whatever hotkey you may want to use. To do that, you're just going to go once again into your custom orders, click on this, on your custom order, whatever you may want it to be, and you can choose to map the key. Then you'll go through and choose which button you want it to be mapped to. All right, so that's pretty much how you do the custom hot buttons, custom hot keys. It's pretty self-explanatory there. If you want to make them yourself, you just go through that command system step by step. Let's see what else we have here on the screen. Okay, positions, active orders, filled orders. So these are all just different boxes that show me essentially different versions of the same thing. So positions here, if I hit on the little gear, you're going to be able to choose what columns you see here within the positions as well. You can see what ones I currently have, and then all the options that are available to you. So you can have, your cost value, your P&L per share, removed liquidity, whatever you may want to put in and have under your positions. You can click on it, click add, or if you want to get rid of that, click delete, and that is how you change around what is in there. To change the order of it, just click on one and hit these little arrows up and down, and that's how you change the order within the box itself. Now to show your orders, I have two different boxes here. I have my active orders and my filled orders. I have that separated so that I can clearly see if I have any active orders outstanding that I need to cancel out or that are still waiting to be filled. I know exactly what I have at all times. So if you go into the settings, once again, pretty standard here. Everything is just going to be within the settings. This is where I have my active orders. So because it's an orders box, I have clicked just show active orders. You can also choose to show executed, canceled, whatever you may want. But for me, I chose this to be an active orders only box. So that is where I have the active orders checked, and anytime an order is pending, still available out there to get filled by one of the markets, that is where it's going to show up for me. Now, the same thing is true on this box. Filled orders is where I show only my filled orders, and display, you can see I have show executed orders. So those are the orders that I've actually gone through, that I've executed throughout my trade, and I just have them separated into different boxes. So you can do that if you would like. You can have it all in one box if you would like. You can have all three in there: canceled, executed, everything you want. You can see those are my little test ones we were doing there a second ago. All right, just a few other things that we have here on my screen is the risers and fallers. This is essentially your gap up and gap down list on the day, the ones that are making the biggest percent move here throughout the morning. That's where you can find that. You also have scanners that are available if you want to scan for a stock. You have halted symbols you can bring up. So if a stock gets halted, if you guys like the low float penny stock stuff, that may be one you want to keep in mind. You have where is it? I'm blanking right now, but you have essentially an alert system where you can choose there it is, ticker alert, where you can choose what tickers you're watching and have them set to alert at different levels. One of the windows that I do suggest having to make sure that you have open and somewhere on your screens at all time is this messages window. This messages window is going to tell you every time something is happening here within your platform. So it's very important and useful. I actually forgot about it several times early on and had to ask Rob a few questions to help me out, when really this message window was telling me what was happening. So if you have an issue where an order isn't getting filled and you don't know why, you may look up here and it says cannot exceed buying power or something along those lines, or a number of different messages. But this is where you're going to see all your different messages coming from the system itself. It's going to tell you when you enter an order, if you get filled on an order, if you canceled an order. All these messages will come out here with a timestamp. And if you do have any issues, I believe there's a way that you can then send that information over to Rob or one of the Lightspeed team members, and they can help you out. That's actually how he's helped me out a few times in the past when I was first getting started with Lightspeed, because like I said, this is can be complex trading platform compared to your normal trading platform, because there's so much customability, so many different options of what you can do. So one of the things that's been great about it is, and it's not just because I'm on YouTube or anything is like that, is if I have an issue, I will email Rob, and normally he's back to me if it's trading hours within the hour, if not sooner, to make sure that I'm getting everything squared away there. I think there was one other tip that I wanted to go through. Yes, for the charting, if you want to draw some your own lines here, one way you can do it is to right click, go into lines. You can choose whatever line type you may want. If you want an extended, whatever kind of line you want. But if you want to do it quickly without having to right click, what you're going to do is hit Alt, click and hold, and then you can kind of just go around from your starting point on the cursor there, and that's going to bring up a line. So say you want to draw a trend channel, something like that, you can easily do that by hitting Alt, holding it, and then that line will pop up right there where you want it to be drawn. All right, I think that is everything I had preset. So now we'll try and go through your questions if Rob hasn't answered them already, and anything else that you guys want to ask. Would it be the time for me now? Let me look through these here, and if Rob, feel free to chime in if I messed anything up or if there's anything you can answer.
Sure,
helps.
absolutely. Thanks. No, definitely seems like everything was on the money there. Just a couple questions coming in about the routing and the different choices. So the Lightspeed, the LSPT Smart Route, that is a very fast route that's designed to rotate and find the best source of liquidity. It is, based on different parameters that we have, but it always attempts to get you the best price available. Now, there is also the exchange preference routes like ARCA or NASDAQ that we offer as well. Those are slightly more aggressive, and those will preference to those exchanges that you're directing the orders to. So if you're choosing one, the Lightspeed has a lower fee, but that's going to take slightly longer, but it's still a very fast route, and people are very happy and find it's very sufficient. The other routes a lot of people use when they're trying to access a certain liquidity. If you see here, pretty much in the after hours on his Facebook, you see EdgeX is representing 800 shares as that bid. So you may want to route the order to the EdgeX there, because that will give you the best chance to get filled on that full 800 shares before the other exchanges pull back and not fill you as much. So we try to give you the ability to access the liquidity by giving you those routing options. So you can use the Lightspeed route, and you certainly find that it's going to fill you very sufficiently, but there are times where using the other exchange routes may be beneficial. So that's why we provide the different choices for you.
Excellent. Yep, sounds good. And in aftermarket, I believe you actually have to, if you're trading after hours, choose one of the non-Lightspeed routes.
That's right. Yes,
right.
Exactly.
Right. All right. What else
Someone's asking about an OCO order. There's no exact OCO function that sends combination orders, but there is a way to link orders together. If one order is executed, the other one will cancel. So you can place a stop order and a limit order. If one of those orders are filled, the other one will cancel. There's a setting in the trading menu there for that function, so that is available. It's not an exact OCO, but it is a way for you to place a stop order and a limit order to capture a profit or limit a loss, and the other one will cancel.
Excellent. All right. I think that was.
That's a good question here. Brian's asking if you have your hot buttons, how aggressive you have them set up. Are you selling on the ask or the bid?
So for my personal hot buttons, these are the stock is moving very fast and I just want to get out. So I have these set to just market. Now you can set those to whatever you want, whatever you may, feel comfortable with it. If you want to throw them out on the ask or the bid, you can choose to do that, and you can, name it sell on bid or whatever you may want. But for me personally, these are my hot buttons. Means I want to do it real fast. I just have these set to whatever the best market price is at the time, so that I can get that execution. The ECN rebates. So the ECN rebates depends on your market of execution and how you're trading the stock. So in order to be eligible for an ECN rebate, you have to be adding liquidity to the market. And essentially what that means is you're not having an order that as soon as you hit the button is being executed. You want to add liquidity, you want to add orders out into the market for other people to be able to fill. So say we were trading Facebook here, one of the ways you may want to do that, and there's different rates for adding and removing liquidity from the market, and you can see that on Lightspeed. So say you're in ARCA here and you want to be going long on Facebook, but you want to be adding liquidity to the market, then you can't be buying where basically the level 2 is showing you. You have to be able to add orders into the market. So if you want to add liquidity, just set a limit order out there somewhere at 182.60. So in this case, if it came down and the order was sitting out there and you got filled at that 182.60 and it's in one of the markets that's going to give you that ECN rebate, that's how you would get it. You can then see that ECN rebate through a number of different ways. I don't have it up here because it's my demo, but you can actually see how many shares you've added, how many shares you've taken away. And that's basically how you see that. Default buttons. I don't know if you can download default buttons. Let's actually see what happens when you bring up new buttons here. New hot buttons. Okay, so the hot buttons is empty. It's not necessarily default buttons, but what you can do is just add in any of the already created commands. So if you don't have any of the custom commands, you can then scroll through all these options on your right to choose what you may want to set a button to. So, it can be whatever you want: cancel orders, close out orders, tier orders. So whatever you may want it to be, there are so many different ones that you can go through. I couldn't even begin to tell you what all the different options are for the hot buttons that are already created for you. You can look through that and then just add it in, and that'll come up here in your new buttons already created. You don't have to go through the custom commands section.
Sorry, I had my mic on there. My phone was ringing. Certainly, we have the option for you guys to call in or schedule a time with a rep if you want to go over hot buttons and settings. If you want to do a walkthrough, we're happy to help you set up some buttons you're looking to do and some custom orders. So certainly feel free to call or email us, and we can certainly schedule a time to go over how to set up any custom orders that you are looking for. So Richard, feel free to give us a call.
Absolutely. Yeah, to do the lines here on the chart, the little shortcut there, all you do is, so when you have the chart up, let me bring this up real nice and big here, is you're just going to hold the Alt key, click anywhere on the screen where you want it to start, and then that's where your line's going to go from there. And that's how you put your line in there. To get rid of it, just right click on it, delete selected line. Just that Alt key and then your mouse button. Do I swing trade or intraday? With Lightspeed, I do exclusively intraday day trading. That is all I use Lightspeed for, in my opinion. It is the best and fastest platform out there, especially with fills. One of the things like I said at the beginning of this presentation, is the fills in Lightspeed are outstanding very often. And like I said, I use that Lightspeed route that Rob was talking about, which kind of finds you the best option out there without having to select which route it's going through itself. But oftentimes I will set a limit and I will get a fill that is better than what I was trying for. And that's one of the real things that has been nice about Lightspeed. I'll look up and I'll see my average price up here in my positions. I'm like, oh, that's better than I was even trying for, if you're using that Lightspeed route.
And just a little sneak preview, we have made some updates on the charting, our next release, which we don't have a scheduled date yet, but we are going to have some more tools, some easier ways to draw trend lines, some different ways to customize charts. So that is coming in our next version. So that should be out relatively soon. We're doing some final testing on that. So look for that new version to come out. We always try to add new features as well, and always take suggestions.
Yep, absolutely. When you have the clues. So you can have it whatever you want here. For me, I do not have the commissions factored in because I don't like to think about commissions throughout the day. And quite honestly, with Lightspeed, I don't really think about commissions anymore too much like I used to anyway. So for me, my P&L is not including commissions. Yes, Ozzy, I use 3 different screens that I have with Lightspeed. The one that you're seeing here is currently just my main trading screen. So when I'm watching a main stock, or I decide because I generally only trade one stock at a time at this point in my career, just personal preference. But so what you're seeing on the screen is my main trading screen, but I do have other screens up. On another screen, I have those messages like I was showing you earlier that come from Lightspeed. I have my account information, and then basically 2 other screens just full of different charts. So all my watch list stocks, I'll have a screen that is just full of the charts for those stocks, and then on another screen I have the market indicators themselves, the SPY and the Q. No problem, Ozzy. Sorry, guys, I'm new to this program, so I'm trying to go through these questions here. How do you add another level 2 box? You just go to new, new, level 2. Anytime you want to add something new into the platform, just hit that new. That's where all your different options of boxes are going to come on here. So that is how you add a new level 2. And like you saw earlier, this is now my in focus. You can choose to link them different ways through the linking. If you go into the settings, I forget where it was currently, but that we showed how to do that earlier. So you can see it changes the colors as well to your in focus and out of focus depending on what settings you do. So the risers and fallers box there, Ozzy, I use that in pre-market just to go through and look around what's moving on the day. It can be very helpful in that sense, as oftentimes the ones that are making the biggest moves on the day are the ones that everybody else is watching and have a lot of liquidity in them and have some trade options available for you. Am I allowed to tell them about my trading group there, Rob? Here or not?
No, I would save that for your
Okay.
For your channel, please.
Okay, no problem.
But yeah, guys, definitely check out Justin at garageDayTrader.com. Go check out his videos, and you can see a lot more of his content and his trades and some of his scanners and stuff that he likes to use as well.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. This has been pretty much all about the platform, but if you guys have any other questions further than that, you can always reach me, via Twitter, email, whatever it may be, YouTube. You guys can reach me a number of different ways if you have any other questions. Always willing to help.
Great. I think that's pretty much our time here today. So guys, I'm going to do the raffle here. I have all the names that are currently attended here. I'm going to have the system here generate one, and we're going to give someone a nice little present. We're going to give away a nice lime duffel bag here with our logo. Okay, pulling the name. Let's see. Looks like they are no longer attending, so I have to pull another name. They were
Somebody else got
registered
lucky
here, so we have it. All right, Richard. I saw he was registered. He was here. Richard, I will reach out to you. Yeah, Richard, you're here. Great. All right,
There you go.
I'll reach out to you to get your mailing address, guys. Sorry if you guys didn't win, but hopefully we'll give away something else on the next time.
Excellent. Congrats, Richard. There's a picture of what you're getting on there on the screen.
Nice. So, guys, I thank you for attending. You certainly can get a recording of this on our website within a few days, and look out for future webinars as well. And like I said, look out for additional presentations. We're going to have them scheduled as well. Hopefully we'll get Justin back here as well to do another one as a follow-up. So we're happy to have him here. Justin, thank you very much. We appreciate you taking the time for us. And guys, check out his website, like I said, garageDayTrader.com, and the YouTube channel. And everyone keep progressing with your trading journey, just like Justin has, and we certainly try to help in any way possible. So feel free to contact us. So thank you very much, guys. Have a great night.
Thanks, everybody.
Okay, take care.